When hope is gone, undo this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint level 0. Hey kids, wanna see a dead body?
Hi guys, this is the Void of the Ravenclaw. Welcome back to another fan fiction story. If you like this kind of stories, drop a like and subscribe to see future content like this and any updates that I will release on the community tab. Now let's get back where we last left off in this story. After the event of Izuku just taking a stroll across the city, he refrained from taking strolls into the city until the end of the sports festival, concentrating his remaining time training at his house or home. Izuku spent the last week of his training relaxing at the house. Izuku is sitting and hovering above the ground in Indian style in his backyard of his house, meditating. Izuku's meditation exercise helps keeping his telekinesis sharp and not rusty. While maintaining his meditation, several small rocks are floating all around Izuku in all different directions. As the stones are circling around Izuku like a vortex of flying stones, while he's still meditating with his eyes closed. Every single stone that was floating around Izuku in the air bursts into flames. His pyrokinesis is not perfect, but he mastered at a certain level that can be used in battle. Because he has telekinesis, his pyrokinesis is just a sub-ability of his telekinesis that he's unlocked during his hard training, during the time when Izuku is getting ready for the sports festival. Ever since he fought Muscular for the second time, he noticed several changes in his abilities, as he's acquired a few new moves. He's been slowly waking up or finding new powers that branch off from his telekinesis. With one simple thought, all of the rocks floating there slowly fall or fly into the small pond that he has in his backyard. As the rocks slowly descend down into the pond, making the pond boil from the heat. Luckily, Izuku's small pond hasn't installed the fish yet. If he did, the fish would have been boiled alive from the extreme heat coming from the small heated rocks. Izuku heard the door open to the house as he hovered down to the ground and stood on both his feet as he turned around to see Ivy in a green and black kimono with Harley. She's wearing a black and red kimono, guiding All Might in his skull form. I just refer to him Skull Might because it's easier that way. Basically Yagi, aka All Might, to the backyard. where Izuku is at currently. The moment All Might, or Yagi, did notice the boiling pond on to the side of the backyard. You have a very pleasant backyard like that, but that boiling pond is something new. I see you've been hard at training. Don't know how you got that pond of water to boil like that, but whatever you did seems to be paying off. Indeed it has, Toshinori. Shoto Todoroki will be pleasantly surprised when we clash in the sports festival. So what can I do for you, All Might? I have a list of students at UA that could be a possible choice for One for All to be passed down. I just wanted to get your opinion. You have interacted with most of these people on this list, so your insight will be most appreciated. Very well, I'll take a look at this list. The piece of paper floated out of All Might's hand and into Izuku's, as he gently grasped upon the document or paper, doesn't matter what you call it. As he looks at the list of names, in the file, basically what it is. He opened the files and looked at the list of names. As he looks through the possible candidates for One for All, in terms of skill, Bakugo is the logical choice, but his personality and anger is definitely a negative. I personally don't like the Pomeranian firecracker terrorist. I just don't like his personality. Regardless of my personal feelings for Sparkles, I see potential in him. If you were to pass on your quirk to him, it would indeed make his explosions quite more powerful. Then we have the second on the list, Ochako Odoraka. I can see why you put her in this list. She has potential. And if you would gift her with your quirk, One for All, her quirk would definitely evolve. To what I'm uncertain, it clearly will make her gravity quirk evolve in some way. Maybe giving her the option to increase and decrease gravity at her control. I believe All for One would alter her quirk so much that she probably would need to be trained in it all over again. That would be a long process, but I believe you would see good results at the end of the day, at the end of it all. I don't know why she wants to be a hero, but that's none of my business. She must have her reasons. Haven't really talked to her in class. She usually keeps to herself. And the other one on the list is Kirishima, a very interesting choice. A general good guy, and has a great defensive quirk. One for All would definitely make his hardening abilities far more stronger. Then you have Jiro on the other hand. I don't know much about her. I haven't seen her use her quirk. She very much. She's definitely would be a good censor type. She would definitely be a good hero with All for One. I believe she has some sort of sound-based quirk. Who knows how her quirk would evolve if she was passed down if she was granted one for all. And the last person on the list, Shinzo. I've only talked to the guy in passing. He usually comes and visits me during lunch. I've been hearing some rumors about that guy on campus. He has some sort of brainwashing quirk. And he's well known, and he's somewhat well known by the general population of the students. I personally would love to see how One for All would affect his quirk in general. It would be interesting, but his personality you might have to work on. He's not really well liked on campus. He's kind of a smartass. I personally would scratch off Sparkles from the list. It would probably take you too much time to temper his ego. I suggest it's my opinion, All Might. I suggest you focus on Gravity Girl, Shinzo, and Kirishima and Jiro. I was right to come to you, Izuku. Thanks for the help. Even though I find you more than worthy to acquire All for One, or One for All. But nevertheless, your help it helped me great a deal to narrow down the list. So I could pass on the torch to the younger generation. I have much to think about. I'll take my leave, judging by your lovely ladies over there that are wearing kimonos. I take it you're going to the fireworks festival today? Yes, that I am. I ordered a custom kimono just for the occasion. I've never been one of these fireworks festivals in Japan. After all, I was born and raised in the States. Been a few times myself. It's quite a relaxing experience. You'll definitely enjoy yourself. I'll see you at the sports festival, Izuku. I want to see the progress of my candidates. I'll definitely have my answer by the end of the sports festival. Very well. Good luck, All Might. Thanks, kid. As All Might left Izuku's house, and his skull might form still. I'm still surprised you didn't take the Musclehead's quirk, Izuku. Even if I wanted to be his successor, I don't know it would even work with my body. There's never been an Esper gifted with a quirk before, so I might not be even capable to hold a quirk in the first place. I got plenty of power anyways. No reason to have more. As long as you're sure, love. How do I look? As Harley spin around in her kimono. Very enchanting. Correct answer. As Harley Quinn wrap her arms around Izuku. And you, mister, you need to get ready. Why don't you jump in the shower and me and Ivy will wait for you in the living room. Now move it, mister. Okay, I get it, Harley. No reason to push me in. Harley simply slapped Izuku's behind and gave him a mischievous smirk. After his quick shower upstairs and put on his custom kimono, it's a black, white, green kimono. After he got fully dressed, he went downstairs and left with Ivy and Harley. 210. They left. Sorry, let's start it again. Izuku went downstairs and left with Harley and Ivy, attached to each of his arms, walking out of the house and heading down to the park, where the fireworks festival is being held. About 4 or 5 blocks away from his house. Fairly close. I'm not used to wearing these sort of style of clothes, so what do you think, Izuku? You and Harley look very enchanting and very beautiful in your kimonos. It suits you. You don't look too bad yourself, Izuku. The moment they got to the park, they immediately went to all the game stands and food stands until the fireworks show. After eating some good food and winning a couple of prizes for Ivy and Harley, they got ready for the fireworks show as they place a blanket on the grass, and Izuku proceeds to lay down, with Ivy laying down to his right and Harley to his left, as they're both resting their head onto his chest. While the fireworks show began, the fireworks shot off in the air. The three of them enjoy themselves at the fireworks festival. They managed to get back at the house very late that night. The three of them went to bed. The rest of the week passed instantly, as you see Izuku in his UA uniform. That's underneath his jacket. Well, basically he's wearing his jacket over his UA uniform, basically what I'm trying to say. Should have said that in the beginning, but nevertheless, let's continue forward. As he's walking to school, Izuku finally made it to UA, and apparently he was the first person in Class 1A to enter the classroom. As he sat down after saying good morning to Black Canary, because Black Canary was doing such a good job as teacher, Nezu made her the permanent teacher, for at least for this year, leaving Eraserhead to take care of more hero stuff. But he'll still be around to help occasionally. Didn't take long for Shoto to walk into the class with Momo. Shoto sat to Izuku's right, while Momo sat on his left. So that I figured you would be the first one here. You're a pretty early riser. Well, if you had 2 lovely girlfriends nagging you if you try to sleep in, you would be an early riser too. More so Ivy than Harley, but I do like to get to school early. So have you made any progress in your training? I've made great progress. My fire side is getting stronger every day. What about your training? That would be telling, my friend. You'll see soon. Possibly real soon. Cryptic and ominous. I'm game. As the two friends laugh at their banter with each other. I want to thank you for helping me with my hand-to-hand combat, Izuku. It was a great help. No problem, Momo. We're technically friends, so I didn't see any harm in helping you out. As we cut to a flashback during the break when Izuku was training for the sports festival, thus preparing himself. Izuku was reading a book in his living room until he heard a knock on the door. As he closed the book and put in the living room table and opened the door to see Momo at his door. May I come in? Sure thing. Where's Shoto? He's in the middle of training, so he couldn't make it. He told me to tell you to say hi. I'll text him later. Come in. Would you like some tea? I would love some tea, thank you. No problem, just sit down on the couch, make yourself at home, and I should have a cup of tea ready in a few minutes. After making some tea and handing a cup of tea over to Momo, she sipped it quietly and set it down on the living room table under the coaster. It was very lovely, and the reason why I came here to visit you today, I was hoping you could help me out with some hand-to-hand combat. I know quirk training is important for heroes, but I realize since attending UA, you need to know hand-to-hand combat in case I get into a situation where I can't use my quirk. I don't see why not. So, where do you want to do this? My manor has a private dojo. We have all the equipment there I need to start training. I just need someone to guide me through the process. I know a little bit about martial arts. I've had a few teachers in the past, but they never stuck around. They were always afraid to push me to my limits, considering what family I belong to. That shouldn't be a problem. We just need to set up a schedule. I'm really grateful for you helping me, Izuku. It's fine, Momo. I need to get back. I'll call you in a few days. See you later. As the days pass, as they set up a schedule, as Izuku was picked up by one of Momo's drivers. Izuku is currently following a maid through the Yaoyorozu residence to their family's private dojo. The maid dragged him to the changing room to change into a gi. It's your normal black gi. When he finally got dressed, he saw Momo wearing her own gi, waiting for Izuku. Izuku immediately began teaching her the correct ways and doing combat stances. After 7 days of training with Momo, Izuku saw improvement drastically into her hand-to-hand combat. She was already gifted in hand-to-hand, so she caught on real fast. Izuku offers some further advice, but the rest of her training is really up to Momo. Momo gave Izuku a big hug and as a thank you for helping her. As we end the flashback, it's no problem, Momo. You already had a necessary tools. You're definitely going to be a force to reckon with in a hand-to-hand combat setting. I just showed you how to implement the skills you already have. You're pretty much a natural when it comes to martial arts. Things I taught you, you picked up instantly. Momo's not used to being praised this much, so she was extremely grateful for Izuku's compliments and her efforts. Izuku, Momo, and Shoto continued to talk to each other until the rest of the class showed up, as Black Canary started the class. Morning, class. Good to see you all here. You know the sports festival is approaching soon. The sports festival will be in the next 2 days from now. All hero courses are put on hold for the time being. I want you to concentrate on your normal studies for the next 2 days. Remember to act professionally at the sports festival. A lot of eyes are going to be on you. Many hero agencies will be observing the sports festival, so this is your chance to catch their attention. Normal agencies are going to be there, including the agency that the Justice League has. The Justice League agency. If you're good enough, you might catch their eye. I wish all of you the good luck. And now let's start with our lesson of the day. You decided to listen to his sensei and concentrate on his schoolwork with his regular classes. He might not be doing any hero courses, but the normal schoolwork still does involve heroes in some level. Lunch finally came as Izuku is sitting underneath a tree eating his bento box that Ivy made for him before he left the house. Hey man, you mind if I join you? Sure thing, Shinzo. What's up? I just wanted to let you know I'm gunning for you in your class during the sports festival. As Shinzo sat down and began eating his lunch. Well, you have a lot of work ahead of you. I could guarantee you that. No kidding, man. You're the big threat of the sports festival. We might not be friends or talk too much to each other, but you're one of the good ones that I could actually stand to be around. Even when you found out about my quirk, you treat me no different than you would treat the rest of the people here. Why would your ability matter? If people are judging you by your quirk, they're not worth your time. Let the fools be fools. I don't understand how people in this country are so short-sighted. Both rely on your future because of what abilities you are born with. It's ridiculous, borderline pathetic. That's what I like about you, Izuku. You don't mince your words. There's no point. I grew up on the streets of Gotham. You either learn to survive, or you found yourself in a body bag. The weak-minded don't survive the streets of Gotham. Just don't be too reliant on your quirk. When Class 1A figures out what your ability is, they're going to make it difficult for you. Wait, you're not going to tell your class what my quirk is? I thought you already have. I have no intention doing that. I haven't and nor do I have the intention of informing my classmates of your powers. That would be no fun. Wouldn't you agree, Shinzo? As Izuku gave Shinzo a vicious grin. After all, if you managed to take down a couple of them, that just means you just helped fan out the herd. Hope you've been practicing in hand-to-hand combat. I've been working on that on my spare time. I should be efficient enough for most people that are attending the US Sports Festival. Outside of you, of course. And maybe that Todoroki guy. Even if we fought against each other, I would not hold back. I hope you do the same. I'll use as much strength that I need to. Of course, I can't actually use my full power. When it comes to physical strength, I just don't want to kill my opponents. But don't worry. If we face each other, I won't take you lightly. To make things fair, Shinzo, you might not know of my abilities, but I'll tell you nevertheless. Because I know you have a brainwashing quirk. If you don't already know by the gossip that flies around this place, I am an Esper, and I have the power of telekinesis. I have access to many sub-abilities from telekinesis. Let's just leave it at that. I do appreciate the gesture, but everyone knows your abilities so far, unless you've unlocked some sort of new ones that you haven't told anyone. Your power, you being an Esper, is quite the topic around school. Especially after the USJ attack. Just be prepared for Monoma. I heard he's been going on a rant about Class 1A. About their douches and douchebags and Monoma stuff. He's kind of a dick. I've heard of this Monoma. I've never heard anything good about him. But I'll take your word for it. It looks like lunch is about over. I'll see you around, Izuku. As Shinzo got up and walked away. Izuku picked up his bento box and put it in his bag. It made his way to his next class. Izuku was walking down the hallway to get to his next class, or to get back to Class 1A. Only to get interrupted by a pink-haired girl with goggles, yelling at him to get his attention. Who's there? The one with the green hair. You're a hard guy to get a hold of. May grabbed onto Izuku's hand and dragged him away to her workshop. You're coming with me. Izuku raised an eyebrow at the strange girl while he's getting dragged away. He's not resisting, he's just confused. May burst into her workshop and closed the door and shut on the lights. Alright, green hair, sit down. What exactly did you bring me here for? It's quite simple, my green hair friend. I want you to use some of my babies in a sports festival. Judging by the workshop, I guess you deal with support gear, so I'm guessing these babies are your inventions. Damn right. You learn fast. I like you. May. I'm from the Hero Support course. You know I don't have a quirk, right? I'm fully aware that you're a Esper. I made some new babies just for you, after all. You're the only Esper in UA, and according to my sources, you're pretty much the only Esper. At least the ones we know of. At least. May is searching around on her counter as she finally found what she's looking for. Ah, there you are. As she removes some junk off of a small metal box. When I heard you were an Esper, the moment that it clicked, you would be the perfect person to display my babies in front of thousands of people at the sports festival. After all, the sports festival is broadcast worldwide. And what better person to display my babies is the strongest students from Class 1A. I had a hard time finding information about espers and how their power works. My family is well known in the world of the support gear. It was a easy enough task to get some classified information from the Japanese government. After all, my family does have a lot of contact with the military. It's quite fascinating, espers' powers. Their abilities are based off of science and calculation equations. They're so much different than quarks. And according to what I've read and research, they're far more powerful. At least most of the abilities are, at least. In truth, this is probably my best work to date. As she opens the small metal box and revealed two flat metal pieces. They're round and flat. It looked like they are meant to attach to your temples on your head. One to the right temple, one to the left. These are focusers. They should be able to increase your telekinesis, well, control. You place these two on your temples. These two focusers, or whatever you like to call it, Izuku. It should help you focus your telekinesis. Not only will it increase your power slightly, it's also a good training tool. As May closed the box and dragged Izuku to the training field. Once they got to the training area, Izuku noticed several different containers filled with rocks. From a small pebble to a larger rock, then Izuku noticed the boulders laying around, all around. Got the small devices out of the metal box and placed from her lab coat. Or, well, not really lab coat, but whatever she's wearing. Try this again. May got a small device out of her bag that she brought with her when she left the lab and placed a small monitor suction cups onto Izuku's forehead to collect data. What are these? Well, what I just placed on your forehead will collect data, so I can make improvements to the focusers that are about to be attached to both of your temples. Now, hold still. As she placed them on his left and right temple, let's start with something easy. I want you to lift several of these pebbles over here with your telekinesis. For how long? A few minutes will do. This will give me enough time to get some data, at least. Izuku nodded at Mai and did what he was asked, as he lifted several pebbles off the ground and made them circle around him. Izuku immediately could tell that there's a difference with his telekinesis with these focusers on his temples. Like it's easier. How do you feel? These focusers are amazing. I could definitely feel a difference while using my telekinesis. These devices you use this device you have your placed on my temples makes my telekinesis a lot more focused. It's incredible. As much as I appreciate compliments of my babies, let's get back to work. Give me a few minutes going through the data. Then we'll move on to the next test. Wait a minute. What's wrong? Well, well, aren't you quite devious? I have no idea what you're talking about. Don't play coy with me. You know my devices scan your whole brain, right? The focusers that are on your temple is constantly feeding me data to my little tablet here. And according to this, you have more than just telekinesis at your disposal. You sly devil, you. Izuku covered her mouth and looked around to see if anyone's nearby. Fine, jeez, just keep it quiet about this. You never know who's listening. I gently removed Izuku's hand from her mouth. Don't worry, I'll keep your little secret, as long as you wear these focusers during a sports festival, and whatever device I want you to test out. And to make things more clear, I want you to be my personal tester of my babies. If you agree, my lips are sealed, handsome. You know this is blackmail. Blackmail is such a strong word. Or I'm guaranteed cooperation between you and me. We both get something out of it. You get to use my babies. And if you do a good enough job, and if I get a lot of attention, then we'll continue this relationship in your hero career. What? That's right. If everything goes well, I want to be your personal and only person that will provide you with support items. Most people would be upset being blackmailed like this. He's like, couldn't help it but to bust up laughing. May just tilt her head in confusion by his outburst of laughter. I got to say, you got some guts. Very well, you got yourself a deal. I respect women like you that knows what they want and get what they want no matter the cost. The business world, when it comes to support gear, is bloodthirsty, and you're definitely going to flourish in that atmosphere. You got yourself a deal. As Izuku shook my hand, No, it's May Hasume. Let's continue it. Shook my to confirm their agreement. Good. It's May Hasume. I think it's May Hasume, I believe. Don't know why I want to call her Mai. It's May. Or is it Mai? I don't remember. It's been a while since I heard her name, so excuse me if I got it wrong. Good. I'll have you sign some papers later on, but for now, let's continue, shall we? What do you want me to do next? Use your telekinesis on the bigger rocks. The ones right there. And we'll leave the boulders for last. This time, I want to see how many you could pick up all at once. That's the ones in a crate over there. As several medium-sized rocks started to float around, Izuku took a deep breath and began making several medium-sized rocks float out of the container. 5 turned into 10, 10 turned into 20, 20 turned into 50 floating rocks. Slowly continued until he had 400 medium-sized rocks floating in the air. Amazing, I'm getting really good data. How are you feeling? Are you getting tired? If you are, we could take a break. No, I'm fine. Normally this many small rocks would definitely be difficult, but with these focusers, it's a lot more easier to maintain. There's definitely a difference. Normally, making so many different objects floating would be quite difficult. I've only done it once or twice, just by pure luck. Several hours has passed as you see Izuku maintaining 30 boulders in the air with his telekinesis, as you see the boulders flying around in circles, and a miniature-sized tornado is being created from the floating from the wind, the wind forming, basically. As he begins to create, tornado is being created, as the boulders are slowly but surely breaking into smaller pieces. As you see plasma starting to be created, Izuku did not do that intentionally. He immediately stopped, as what left the boulders fall to the ground. I need to try something now. As Izuku extended his hand outwards, as 5 medium-sized rocks float around his hand in a circle. As he extended his hand outwards, as the rocks begin to spin faster and faster and faster, until a small shot of plasma shot out of the wind, the small wind vortex around his hand. As the rocks immediately disintegrate after the plasma shot out. That's definitely can be very useful. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, I gotta say, Izuku, you're really something else. To think you can create plasma using wind, your telekinesis, and some rock material. I started to write several ideas in her journal that she took out of her bag for invention ideas, basically what it is. She's just writing down a bunch of ideas she has for possible support gear for Izuku. Well done. That's it for today. I have so much to go over. As she walked up to Izuku and took all the sensor off of his forehead and took the focuser and placed it back in the metal box. I'll register your new support gear for you. They'll be fully ready when the sports festival happens. Come to my lab tomorrow. I should have them all ready for you then. It's been a pleasure. Esme run back to her lab to start work immediately. Izuku turned around and went back to Class 1A. Izuku was quite surprised May got Black Canary's approval to skip class to go through her lab to prepare to give him to show her babies and hopefully get him to use one of her inventions in the sports festival ahead of time. The moment Izuku walked into the classroom, Black Canary noticed him. Immediately, good, you returned. It seems like you're in one piece. Miss May tends to get overboard with her inventions. Why don't you take a seat? We're in the middle of a lecture. Understood, Sensei. Izuku walked quietly to his seat and sat down and listened to the lecture that's currently in progress. Izuku noticed the class was over. As he got up to collect his things and went out the door to head out of school and to go back to his house. His classmates, as his classmates went to their dorm rooms in the dormitory, he's the only student from Class 1A is not staying in the dormitories. Izuku went home. No detours. He needed to get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be another boring day at UA. After that, the sports festival should be starting. He just has to suffer through one more boring day of school. That's where we're going to cut it. Hope you guys have a good night and day, judged by time zones. And I'll catch you in the next video.